Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you're seeing and want to see more. Coming up, 2 games from the opening weekend of the NRL Telstra Premiership Final Series 2021. So later on we're going to have a look at the Panthers versus the Roosters, but first of all we're going to have a look at the Gold Coast Titans who face off against the favourites of this game, Sydney City Roosters. The Roosters are coming into the finals in 5th place, where the Gold Coast Titans had to win in the last game to make it into the finals, and they did so with a convincing win over the New Zealand Warriors. Hold the ball, mentioning it again, trust me. So let's begin. So here are the 2 teams starting lineups. First of all, we have a look in the Roosters, as the Roosters side to take on the Queensland Gold Coast Titans has been trimmed back as Ben Marsh and Nafahu White have dropped off the extended bench, while Dale Copley and Ben Thomas have also entered, Copley vacating the reserves list. With David Tupou becoming the 12th Rooster, reached the 200th mark for the club, and he sits on the all-time try scoring list as at 3rd for the Roosters at 116 tries. Now for Gold Coast. So Justin Holbrook's men make one change with co-captain Kevin Proctor returning to the starting lineup, which sees Sam McIntyre drop to the bench, well, the extended bench for the game, and sees Tyrone Peachey hold out with Toby Sexton on the extended bench and Ash Taylor not included in the squad for the 5'8" position. David Fafita will again find himself on the bench for the clash, despite grabbing 2 tries after coming off the bench last time. So in the early stages of the first half, the 2 teams traded penalties. Firstly, it was the Roosters. There was a grubber into the in-goal area by Tedesco, which he was following up, but Victor Radley appeared to get there first, but he was being tackled by Peachey on the retreat. But before Victor Radley got the ball, Radley fumbles in goal, and the ball is grounded by Titans in goal. So worst case scenario, the Roosters were getting the ball back from a dropout, but the referee spotted the infringement by Peachey on Radley and sent him to the sin bin and added a penalty to the Roosters, which Kieran added their 2 points for. On the other end of the scale, the Titans halfback Burgess puts up the massive bomb, and as the Roosters catcher was pouching the ball, Titans chasers were shepherded off the balls, which gave a penalty to the Titans in kickable range inside the 20. Titans added the 2, making 2-all. Then some great play from the Roosters gave the first try of the game. At first receiver, Radley passes the ball out the back to Lachlan Lamb, who finds Josh Morris, and then he finds Ikefalu, who goes over in the corner. After an attempted play on the halfway line inside ball, it puts the Titans in some good positioning, but through an intercept, but Victor Radley comes to the fore in his defence. First of all, stopping an interception from marauding forward on the Titans, being going over untouched under the sticks, and then puts in another hit on the other Titan as replacements forward to more or less injure himself with on his right shoulder, and it was so troubling. He was getting extensive treatment. We thought he'd have to go off, but who stayed on and played a massive role in the Roosters' second try to extend their lead to 12-2, as he found a gap going into the 20-metre line of the Titans' half on an angle run out towards the left corner. And as he was being tackled, he finds James Tedesco, who goes in for the second try of the game. But back come the Titans as a Tyrone Peachy grubber towards the left edge, left side goal area, is chased by Bo for Moore, who goes over and puts enough downward pressure for Titans to score their first try of the game. And going into half time, the score is 12-6 because the conversion was unfortunately missed. And it's been such a good half for the Titans. They're still in it, and only one score behind, one converted score out behind. That's good going against a team that was expected to walk through this game. So into the second half, and it's the Roosters that actually extend their lead first, as Victor Radley is at first receiver again and is the heart of everything that the Roosters seem to be doing today. And he passes out to Drew Hutchinson, who in turn passes it to James Tedesco, who's seriously getting closed down. He's getting hammered if he doesn't do something special. And he just tips it on. Tips it on to Daniel Tupou, who goes over in the corner for another try to the Roosters. The Titans come roaring back though, and a kick on the last by Fogarty is kicked towards Daniel Tupou's wing, and Tupou and his centre Adam Kieran both go up for the ball, and it's fumbled forward. And Tino Fasa Malawi actually picks up the ball with a clear run to the posts with to score, to give the Titans another chance to close up the gap, and they do so. So it's 12 points to 18 in the Roosters' favour, but the Titans so hard to come back, and the Titans are back in again. There seems to be nothing happening in the play, and the ball goes to ground, which is picked up well by Peachy, and Peachy passes it to Brian Kelly just to do a standard run. Brian Kelly's too strong for the Roosters defenders and burst through, and then he's left with a clear run to score under the posts for the Titans to level up the scoring at 18-all. And on the 60th minute, back come the Roosters. On the third tackle, there was broken field on the right-hand side of the for the Roosters attack on the Titans' left, and James Tedesco spots this, and he passes it out wide to Ikivalo, who does a small run, draws in a defender, and then passes it to Josh Morris. Josh Morris runs at the line, sidesteps off his right foot, and arcs towards this post. The score is scored in this try, an emotional try for Morris to score in the finals, to extend the lead to 18, which is converted for a 24 points to 18 score. But something amazing happened. The Titans score and to level up the scoring. After their set of 6 and the turnover being given a couple of metres away from the Roosters line on their right hand edge, right to the post. On the second run in, Ikivalu is looking to take the ball upfield to give the forwards a bit of a rest. He fumbles it, and it goes forward straight into the hands of Jared Wallace, who is gracious enough just to pick it up and crash over the line. with Hutchinson carried over. It's a mistake of their own making from the Roosters, but it's Titans, and they're in with a sniff, and the conversion is successful to make it 24-all, and going into the final 10 minutes of this week 1 game. After an attempt is charged down for a 1-pointer by Sam Walker, who comes on as substitute, the Titans go up the other end, and Tyrone Peachey attempts his, and that sails just wide right to the post. But Roosters go back the other end, and Sam Walker has more time this time, and he puts it over for a 25-24 lead, going into the final couple of minutes. But we come to the final minute, and Titans are in possession in their own 20, and they work the ball left to Brian Kelly, where he draws in the man, and the gap opens up for Baltimore, who sprints 60 metres before he passes on to his winger, and he is tackled, Philip Sammy, just outside the Roosters 20, and they go right with the numbers. But unfortunately, the final pass, which he reaches his player that he wants it to have for an inside ball, Patrick Herbert, who tries to flick the ball to the outside to his winger as play that normally comes off, whether it's earlier in the game. His winger is too far forward and it goes out of field. Titans could have won it at the death with that try, as the hooter sounds, but unfortunately the game is lost for the Titans, and the Roosters go on 25 points to 20. So in the entire game, my player of the match is Victor Radley. He seemed to be everything to do with Sydney Roosters go forward, and also in defence. He was a leader, and he's probably going to be there to captain soon rather than later, with all the effort and endeavour that he put in. So he's my week 1 Roosters player. So again, we head to the Queensland County Bank Stadium for the second game of day 2 in final week's 1, as this double header sees the Penrith Panthers face the South Sydney Rabbitohs for week off next week, and only being 1 game away from being in grand final. Now let's have a look at the starting lineups. So there's no real surprises in the Panthers starting 13, as everything revolves around Nathan Cleary and Jerome Luai, with James Fisher-Harris and being the goal forward, with Kurt Capewell and Isaac Yeo, as well as Viliami Kikau with his hard hits and hard running. Brian Toto on the wing is usually the person that makes the most yards, so it's not anything that we thought would be too big a change. Stephen Crichton at fullback is not a problem either. He'll play well for them, and it will keep buzzing and will cause problems for the South side. For the Souths, the call has been made that Blake Taff will play at fullback against the Panthers, with Adam Reynolds marshalling the side and Benji Marshall on the bench. Thomas Burgess starts on the bench with Jay Arrow to add a little bit of impetus a little bit further on into the game. Well, we go into the first half, and it's tight affair, but on the first scorers of the game are the Rabbitohs, after Luai kicks the ball away with possession on the third tackle, and the Bunnies make a decent ground in response. And then they're awarded a 6 again on the last tackle, which is criminal nowadays. The Rabbitohs attack dangerously down the right, and then Cook takes over in midfield. He passes on to Murray, who drives towards the posts, and he's hauled down in the tackle, and the ball comes loose. It is deemed as a penalty as against Capewell or the strip, and Rabbitohs Adam Reynolds decides to go for 2. Not a problem there, and it's 2-0 for the Rabbitohs. We come up to the 8th minute, and Cleary has to kick from just 35 metres out, but Taff absolutely makes a mess of it, concedes a knock-on, and suddenly Penrith have an excellent field position for their attacking, and it feels like a game-changing moment. And a game-changing moment it was, as Penrith are in for a try, and it is because Nathan Cleary had just demonstrated the most outrageous technique with the boot. Quite miraculous grubber that arced menacingly from left to right through the posts and across the dead ball line. That was as good as anything Andrew Johns in his pomp could have done. Momorowski was the chaser, and he was alert to flick the ball back into play without stepping off the island, and Crichton was on hand to back up and touch down. Penrith have the bit between the teeth after this, and now Burton, Luai and Cleary are making the most gains drive deep into the South territory. Yeah, it's been a bit scruffy after that, but Penrith seem turning the screw a little bit. Back come the Rabbitohs. On the 25th minute, a great offload on the halfway line for the Bunnies, and they're fortunate to retain possession and get a 6 again with Kickout stripping the ball, but the ball returns and bounces into Murray's hands. That seems to be a theme throughout this entire game. Let's see. With the field broken, Walker gets to work, darting to the left edge, and he finds Gagai, who pinballs around, keeping the ball alive, and he finds that man Walker in support in the inside. The 5-8 powers over under the posts, and out of nowhere, South Sydney have an important score, which Reynolds dabs over the 2 to make it 8 points to 6. South fumbles the ball in midfield after making a half break. The Panthers load up, and Kickout hits their line hard, allowing Penrith to attack with momentum. Souths clearly can't keep up with the pace, and eventually commit an infringement that Nathan Cleary gleefully accepts and adds the 2. But back come the Rabbitohs. From the TMO, he decides the outcome was a on the tackle 2. Cleary shapes to go right and passes inside to Martin, and the big 17 shells the pass to J Arrow. Shells the pass, and J Arrow gets up in his grill and rubs salt in the wound. The Rabbitohs hits back hard on Walker, and again with Walker and Gagai on the left edge. Johnson then chips and chases lane to the tackle on Momorowski and rolls over the try line. The ball spills out, and Walker's there, but the try is not given on field, and the TMO backs it up, calling it was a knock-on in the melee. From the TMO decision, the outcome was a goal line dropout. Burgess ran the kick back with intent, and his force into the defensive line earns a penalty that Reynolds squeezes through the middle of the post. The Bunnies are back ahead this moment of play. But right on half time, Penrith keep the ball moving after the siren, and they ride their luck on the left edge with Burton hurling the ball backwards off the deck. It clips not 1 but 2 sets of South's fingerprints, the second accidentally offside, which the referee gives as a penalty. Going into half time, Nathan Cleary settles it down and kicks the extra 2. Going in at half time. So Penrith need to do a lot better going into the second half, as their forwards have not broken 50 metres. It was left to Stephen Crichton and Toto to go forward from backlines, defending kicks and things like that. But also they've got to watch out their tackling, as there was 16 missed tackles in that first half for Penrith. The person that made the most impact in the entire game was Tom Burgess for the Souths. He came on as substitute and had 9 runs off the bench, which made nearly 100 metres on the pitch during his stint. And the 1 try each and 2 kicks each. That's not good for either side, to be honest, as the Rabbitohs have only won once this year when it comes to scoring more than 20 points, and have been playing their play off flair and attacking intent most of this season. Where the Panthers probably dominating the defensive line and keeping their opponents to low scoring. So, the first attack of the half is from the Rabbitohs. The Penrith are looking out for the left edge attack from the Souths, but they go right instead and creating a 2-on-1 on the overlap. And how they did that was Adam Reynolds running at the line, taking kick-out tackle and releasing the ball just before that to his centre, who pass it to his fullback Taff, who hands the ball on into Jackson Paulo, who scores right in the corner. But unfortunately, Adam Reynolds misses this kick for the first score of the half to make it 14 points to 10 to the Rabbitohs. Early after the try, the Penrith Panthers get lucky off the last tackle kick, as it was a basic kick for distance from Nathan Cleary. Nothing really on it apart from distance and power, but it's Alex Johnson under no pressure who fumbles it forward for the Souths to give excellent field position for the Panthers. But the tackling of Jay Arrow just after the scrum forces the ball out of the Panthers' ball player's half, and it's all up for the Rabbitohs defence as they're tackling like anything. We get to the 55th minute mark, 58 minute mark, and there are 2 people that are over 150 meters gained with the ball in hand, and that is Tom Burgess for Souths and Stephen Crichton for the Panthers. The best forward of the game is definitely Tom Burgess, and Tom Burgess is the only non-back at this moment in time that has run more than 100 metres. The best Penrith Panthers forward, go forward, is 87 metres. After a charge down by the Panthers on a Reynolds kick, the Souths get lucky by receiving the ball back in a better attacking position. As a result, the Souths get a penalty after they march upfield, and it is for an Isaac Yeo crusher from right in front. Yeo is placed on report because of this, and Reynolds slots over the 2 to extend the lead to 16 points to 10. And then Penrith start to turn the screw a little bit more, and it's only tough defence that keeps the game result from going one way. That's in Penrith's favour, as they have them attacking the tent. But they are clear. But Souths are hitting the marks and getting the right tackles in and recovering in desperation, tackling when needing to. Though they are clearly wilted under all the sustained defensive effort that they put in. Not 6 against, more like, for instance, Forest out, Kafusi sort. No, kick out. I get it right, Revenge. Kick out's made a break down the left edge, and ball's gone to ground. You think that the Penrith chaser is going to pick it up and carry on the attack, but there's a South player scrambling to get the ball before the Penrith man to recover the ball. It was, and they came out of nowhere, run and everything. It's a great defensive effort. There were a couple more breaks like that, which the ball eventually just hit the ground and bounced into South's hands. Like I said from the first half with comments, it was all the same sort of effort, and because of this, the game ends 16 points to 10 to the Rabbitohs. So they get the week off next week, and the Panthers have another chance this week to get further to the final series, which they're more than likely, if they get beat, they're out, or if they win, may face the Rabbitohs again. So it was a simple decision who was man of the match in this game, and it was Tom Burgess. For his 19 carries, he made over 160 yards, 160 metres. That's tough going, especially when you're all in defence. He was the outlet ball, he was the goal forward man, he was the one that the Souths relied on to get the ball up the field. Yes, he didn't come out with any points from it, but I remember after one set he was involved in 3 tackles and he was looking tired as well. So one of which was a third man grab as the Penrith attacker was about to break through for the other 2, giving the 2 South defenders making sure that the Penrith man didn't get the chance to break. Just about to happen, but he was coming off marker. Second tackle that he did, he just leapt and grabbed the man because coming back onto him. Yes, he was having a break, trying to get behind get back to his 10, just jump back to his 10, but he had to make that tackle. Onside, square at the marker, did his job. Defense. Wow, got 2 great games. The endeavour and effort that the South put in against a slightly off Penrith Panthers, but they have another attempt to go at it next week. And also the great effort for our Titans, keeping Roosters honest during that actual game. Wow. Great effort. They can use this experience to go on next season, definitely, as they can put in that sort of performance, and it's all positive, just in our team. So you guys, please tell me which game was the best for you for this Saturday morning, Saturday night, whichever time zone you're in game. I'd like the Roosters versus the Titans, to be honest, for the attacking intent and the closeness, captivation. I do appreciate the South's defence. They were excellent. Very much so. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe and share this video worldwide. Hope that my message is getting out there, that you guys should watch these videos more and tell your friends. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. All the best, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.